Elon Musk is mad as a hornet at Republicans, and I don't blame him one bit. Once I tell you, you'll agree with me. Also, Elon Musk blasts a fellow billionaire for being an evil loser who is responsible for millions of deaths. Congressman Tim Burchett says people close to Biden were bribed to use the auto pen while Biden was on vacation to enrich themselves financially. I'm going to tell you about this and much, much more. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. As often as you do, let's jump into the news. President Trump is going big again. The White House is rolling out the One Big Beautiful Bill, a bold new budget plan aimed at cutting taxes, unleashing American energy, and slashing wasteful Washington, D.C. spending. The White House argues the bill is essential for five main reasons. First, it extends the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, preventing what would amount to a $4 trillion tax hike, the largest in U.S. history. It also adds work requirements to Medicaid in an effort to reduce costs and keep the program sustainable for seniors and those that really need it. Medicaid wasn't designed for young people wanting to avoid work. The bill strengthens border security by providing funding for the wall, hiring more ICE agents, and helping out with DHS. It also helps with expanding deportation efforts. On the energy front, it rolls back Biden-era regulation like the methane tax to lower costs and unleash further production. Finally, it includes a $1.6 trillion mandatory spending cut described by the OMB director, Russ Vought, as historic. So it's actually going to save a lot of money, which has Democrats mad because they want that money in order to continue damaging the country and in order to continue keeping people dependent on the government so that they can get future votes. Although some House conservatives initially rejected Trump, the bill in committee is now moving forward and has passed the necessary hurdles. This bill could be passed as early as Memorial Day versus the 4th of July. President Trump went to Congress yesterday to apply personal pressure to get this done. Democrat Speaker Nancy Pelosi lashed out at the GOP's budget plan, stating, Republicans are charging ahead with their plan to rip health care from millions of people, take food from hungry children, and hand billions in tax breaks to the ultra-wealthy, all while adding trillions to national debt. Nonetheless, a user by the name of Rapid Response said, wrong. The One Big Beautiful Bill is pro-worker legislation that will boost take-home pay for the typical American family by up to $13,000 a year. Republicans want to block 1.4 million illegal immigrants that were put on Medicaid under Biden. Nancy Pelosi really wants to destroy Medicaid. Now, when insider trading cheat Nancy Pelosi says Republicans are ripping Medicaid away from millions, what she really means is over 1 million illegal immigrants that Biden and those controlling Biden put into the program, making it drain of necessary funds faster, and close to 1 million people that Biden enrolled, which are young people completely, totally capable of getting a job. These are the people that are being removed so that seniors and those that really need Medicaid can take advantage of this program, which is there for them. Now, President Trump has officially announced the Defense Department's design selection for the Golden Dome, a $175 billion missile system to protect the East Coast from advanced weapons. Modeled after Israel's Iron Dome, but on a larger scale, the system will combine land, sea, and space-based technology to intercept future missiles. This project should be done by 2029. President Trump signed an executive order in January to accelerate the project. Congressional Republicans proposed a $150 billion military funding bill, including $25 billion to get the Golden Dome underway right away. Now, this system will target threats from nations like China and Russia, while expanding current missile defense capabilities. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the program could cost $540 billion over a 10-year period. Now, honestly, I don't know how much we need this system. It sounds incredibly expensive, but at least the money is going to protect Americans versus Ukraine and other nations. In regards to money, the U.S. Senate unanimously passed the No Tax on Tips Act, a bipartisan bill that exempts tips from federal income tax, delivering on yet another campaign promise by President Donald J. Trump. The bill was introduced by Senator Ted Cruz and backed by Senators Jackie Rosen, Catherine Cortez Masto, and others. It allows service workers like servers and bartenders to deduct up to $25,000 before being taxed. Senator Jackie Rosen stated, "This bill is not the be-all, end-all, but it's going to offer immediate financial relief while the Senate continues to work to lower costs and find other avenues of relief for hardworking American families." Furthermore, the No Tax on Tips Act now moves to the House, where it's expected to pass either on its own or as part of Trump's larger Big Beautiful Bill to extend tax cuts. Critics like the Economic Policy Institute argue it could add $100 to $250 billion in deficit over the next 10 years, and some people that earn higher than average income might benefit from this. Now, listen, you're never going to really know where to cut things off, but the majority of Americans are middle class. So if it helps the middle class the most, then you got to take the win, right? Now, I'm grateful President Trump and Republicans are now getting stuff done. However, in one area, I believe they have failed. Elon Musk is super mad at Republicans in Congress that have sided with Democrats to vote to not keep Doge and the money he and his team saved the American public. So Elon Musk said, in the future, I'm not going to be donating to Republicans or politicians going forward. Let's watch this together.
I think in terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
Okay. What about...
So Elon Musk was working over 100 hours a week. He and his team of geniuses were working 7 days a week, sleeping in their offices, getting in, digging in, exposing all of the fraud and the theft and the Democrat money laundering. And then Republicans don't want to move forward by keeping Doge. Republicans don't want to codify the changes that he and his team made. So Elon Musk is literally like, listen, I wasn't appreciated, and I don't see a reason to give any more money to politics. That is sad. Sad, sad, sad. We had somebody on our side helping us counteract George Soros, and they messed it up. Never, never, never expect Republicans to get things right when it comes to actually closing the deal, right? Like, they have great policies. They're terrible at closing deals. Democrats have terrible policies, but they can close them all day long. They link arms and they just get it done for their party. Now, I actually side with Elon Musk here. We had one of the smartest people alive fixing the government and the theft. Hundreds of billions of dollars saved in 100 days, and his team could have continued to expand and dig through every dark basement and dark corner of the corrupt American government. And the politicians said, nah, I think we're done having our secrets exposed by Elon Musk. So Republicans have, I guess for lack of a better word, sided with Democrats when it comes to keeping the dysfunction of Washington, D.C. going. It's really sad. Now, in this same interview, Elon Musk took a major shot at Bill Gates. I want to show that to you, but first, a word from our sponsor. Have you seen the latest fluoride headlines and the water supply? The future of oral health care isn't fluoride, it's actually peptides. And the wellness company just launched their first ever peptide paste that regenerates gum tissue, strengthens enamel, and naturally whitens your teeth. It's called Smile, a doctor-formulated breakthrough that works with your body's natural repair process. This advanced formula blends targeted peptides with blue spirulina, aloe vera, and powerful remineralizers to boost blood flow, stimulate collagen, and help rebuild lost gum tissue, all while gently whitening without sensitivity. No fluoride, no peroxide, no artificial dyes, just real clean ingredients that fight bad bacteria and support a healthier mouth from the inside out. Ready to upgrade your oral health? Experience the future of oral care with Smile and get 10% off plus free shipping. Head to twc.health/amazing and use code AMAZING. Get that discount and that free shipping today. Start right now with a healthier, beautiful smile. All right. If you don't know much about peptides, you should dig in. The healing properties of peptides are amazing. And I use them for different areas of my life. All right. Listen to what Elon Musk had to say about Bill Gates.
I do want to ask you about US aid and the comments that Bill Gates made the other day, and I know that you called him.
Yeah, he's a huge liar.
I know you've said that already. I wondered,
also,
and I'm just
who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well, he said he regrets those, and he spent a lot of his own money on philanthropy around the world over the years. My question to you is: have you looked at the data to check if he might be right that the cuts to USAID might cost millions of lives?
Yes. I'd like him to show us any evidence whatsoever that is.
I do want.
All right. So Elon Musk takes a pot shot at Bill Gates saying, why should I trust somebody who was so frequently associated with Jeffrey Epstein? And then it was just a little bit hard to hear because he was talking over the Fox News lady. But basically, he said, I would never trust my own children to be around Bill Gates. And then he said, if Bill Gates is so confident that USAID is saving millions of lives, then why don't you come and prove it? Because just yesterday, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, did bring receipts to his congressional testimony where he showed that less than 20% of money that went to actual good USAID causes, less than 20% of that money actually went to the cause. The other 80+% went to Democrat family members and friends that were making high six-figure and sometimes seven-figure salaries. So this is the news protecting Bill Gates. He gave them over $300 million as a quid pro quo to keep his name out your mouth. Right? Keep my name out of your mouth. And Elon Musk, he doesn't care. He's exposing Bill Gates for who he really is. All right. Now, speaking of lies and corruption, Congressman Tim Burchett, a friend of the show, said he has a list of names he believes used the auto pen while Biden was on vacation to release money, prisoners, and favors while being bought off. He says that this is treason. Listen to what he had to say over on the Benny Johnson show.
About child sex trafficking. I mean, that happens because of an open border, 25 million, many hundreds of thousands of children because of Joe Biden. Now we learn that Joe Biden had terminal illness the entire time he was in office. Maybe this was what all of the vacations, 577 days on vacation. Perhaps he was getting cancer treatment. We have had doctors on the program all yesterday saying all of Joe Biden's activities, the weakness, the falling, the fog, the brain fog, that's because of cancer medication. They were hiding this from the American people. What should happen to the people who hid this from us? Are Joe Biden's acts constitutional? What's your measure on Jill Biden?
Well, that'll be decided at the courts, but I'm sure we'll write somebody a strong letter and move on about it. I don't think anybody really brought to justice over this. You've got staffers. I would look. Tennessee has had a history of this. We had a governor several governors ago. He's since passed away, but he sold pardons. You can look it up. His name was Ray Blanton. It made national news, and I mean they wrote songs, "Pardon Me, Ray," and it was a cash for clemency deal. And that's exactly what I think you're going to find out. You're going to find staffers that were able to take forms, get them, and run them through some sort of bogus legal system, and then they auto-pinned them. And there's probably people out on the street that shouldn't be, but somebody got rich off that. And
wow.
and I think those people, I hate to say it, but you'll see something probably horrible happen to some of those people because it goes up the chain. This is a very dangerous town to play games in.
So you're saying that the Biden staffers took payouts and just ran the auto pen for certain pardons.
I have no direct proof of that, but I'm just talking about history. And if you got somebody making $100,000 a year and somebody offers you $250,000 in some safety deposit box. Yeah. I mean, look at all those, look at Clinton's clemency, Bill Clinton, the people he gave clemency to. Some of those people were just awful, awful people. And nobody raised a beat about them.
Yeah. I personally know people who paid millions to try and get Trump to pardon them. Very rich guys who are in prison for good reasons. And they go through these Republican lobbyists to try and get it done. It's a huge industry.
I mean, I guess none of us are shocked, right? The pay-to-play scheme is something that's been going on for a long time. However, Tim Burchett said, listen, my worry is Republicans, they're just going to send a strongly worded letter, but not James Comer, the guy who did all the investigating on the Biden crime family. He said he's going to dig in. He's going to present names to the president and also start calling in people with the power of subpoenas to get this stuff done. I look forward to reporting on that for you. The U.S. Justice Department is officially investigating former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo for possibly lying to Congress about how he handled COVID-19 in nursing homes. The investigation started after House Oversight Committee James Comer sent a referral. It centers on Cuomo's June testimony, where he claimed he wasn't involved in editing a 2020 report that underreported nursing home deaths. However, evidence suggests he did help edit the report in order to protect his name and reputation. This is the second time the issue has been referred to the DOJ. The first was October of 2024, but it wasn't pursued because of the Biden administration. Cuomo's spokesperson, Rich as a Party, says they weren't told about the new investigation and called it lawfare and election interference since Cuomo is planning to run for New York City mayor. Isn't that convenient? Everything is political except for when it's against Trump, right? Now, the probe revisits Cuomo's controversial March 2020 order to put COVID-positive ill patients next to older senior Americans trapped in nursing homes. This led to over 9,000 deaths. Then the report was edited to make that number significantly smaller in order to save people and save face. Now, I think we need to get to the bottom of this. Just when we think Trump is making progress on removing criminal illegal gang members, another Democrat judge has defied the Supreme Court. U.S. District Judge Edward Chin, an Obama-appointed judge, defied the Supreme Court ruling by ordering the Trump Department of Justice to produce documentation on the revocation of temporary protected status of 350,000 Venezuelan migrants. President Trump's order to end TPS, allowing the administration to proceed. Judge Chen, however, dismissed the Supreme Court's decision as irrelevant, insisting on a deadline for document submission the same night. So not only did he defy the Supreme Court, he made the deadline that night at midnight. This action has sparked controversy, with critics arguing it represents judicial overreach and undermining the Supreme Court. Judge Chen's ruling is part of a broader pattern of federal judges, particularly those appointed by former President Barack Obama. Isn't that interesting? This needs to be squashed. These activist judges cannot continue to control the sitting president of the United States. All right, switching gears to international news. Marco Rubio warns that Syria's transitional government is on the verge of collapse and the United States needs to intervene. Rubio urged support for the new leader, Ahmed al-Sharar, who is a former jihadist who is trying now to stabilize Syria. He blamed recent violence, like attacks on Alawites and Druze minorities, on the return and uprise of ISIS, backed by and funded by Iran. Rubio warned that if the United States doesn't intervene now, ISIS will regain strength and become a threat in the region. To prevent this, Rubio highlighted U.S. efforts to deliver aid through the country of Turkey and also ease sanctions. They're trying to get money and support in to Syria to avoid ISIS rearing its ugly head. In a hopeful return on the world stage, Ukrainian President Zelensky told President Trump, Ukraine is now fully ready for an unconditional ceasefire with Russia. He said, this is a defining moment. The world can now see whether its leaders are truly capable of securing a ceasefire and achieving real lasting peace. Following President Trump's separate call with Zelensky and Vladimir Putin, President Trump has signaled to the head leaders of the European Union and the NATO leaders to prepare to end this war immediately. All right, that's my update for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys. Stay amazing. If you could, if you've stayed to this point, give this video a like, share it with family members and friends, and if you haven't subscribed, just hit the subscribe button. It's totally free, and I'll keep you in the loop on what's really going on. We're almost to 2 million amazing truth seekers. Help me get there. I love you guys. Stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.